Katie is gearing up for her boldest move yet, but when you dig into the real timeline, the deleted evidence from her inner circle leaks, and the industry fallout already rippling through Hollywood power players, it's clear this isn't just drama. It's a high-stakes gamble that could either launch her back to A-list glory or bury her under lawsuits and lost deals worth millions. The real timeline shows her recent setbacks weren't random. They were building blocks for this calculated pivot, whether she's lawyery up against her betrayers or spinning a comeback that rewrites her narrative overnight. The deleted evidence from those insider docs and statements points to premeditation, not panic, while the industry fallout has brands pausing and rivals circling, making her next step the talk of every U.S. agency from LA to New York. This is Katie fighting for her empire in a town that devours the weak. Now, before we get into the timeline they're trying to scrub, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. The mainstream media is currently being paid to bury this story, but I'm showing you the receipts they deleted and the context they're too scared to post. Don't let the PR spin win. Join the drip right now. Let's break this down, starting with the surface-level chaos that kicked off the speculation. Just weeks ago, Katie's world seemed to crumble with back-to-back professional flops, a shelved project rumored to be tied to contract disputes, and a personal scandal that tabloids feasted on, painting her as the villain in her own story. Public statements from her team painted it as isolated hits, but commenters pointed out the timing was too perfect, almost scripted. On one hand, this looks like a textbook PR stunt to hijack the news cycle and position her as the comeback queen. On the other hand, the messiness of the leaked docs feels way too sloppy for a professionally staged rollout. And that's where the story stops making sense. Early in the body, we hit the first receipt, screenshots from a now deleted Instagram close friend story, timestamped exactly 48 hours after her last official apology post. The image showed Katie at a high-end LA lawyer's office, not just any attorney, but one known for repping stars in multi-million-dollar defamation suits against ex-partners and studios. According to blind items on industry forums like Dumois, this wasn't a casual visit. The location tag matched the firm's address, and a watermark hinted at a group chat with publicists. Look at the timestamp on that deleted story. It's not just a random photo. It lands precisely between the public backlash peak and her team's vague focusing on healing statement that hit TMZ first. But that's not even the worst part. Digging deeper into the real timeline, we see the pattern emerge. Pre-scandal, Katie was locked in endorsement deals totaling over $20 million annually, sources close to her agency confirm, with brands like major beauty lines banking on her relatable warrior image. Post-setback, 2 of those deals went radio silent, public filings show paused negotiations, and fan accounts tracked unfollows from key execs. This lines up with leaked contract clauses from similar cases, where reputational risk triggers opt-outs. Is this the setup for a legal offensive? Rumors swirl of her prepping a suit against leakers, possibly tied to that shelved project where insiders say she was blackballed over creative clashes. What you're about to hear next is what her team is actually afraid of. Here's Revelation 2, the professional angle that ties personal to business. Documents purportedly from her production company's internal memos, circulated anonymously on Reddit's r/pop culture chat, outline a narrative reclamation strategy dated weeks before the leaks hit. It details 2 paths. Path A, aggressive litigation against false narrators, including ex-collaborators. Path B, a media blitz with tell-all interviews and a surprise project drop. On one hand, controlled PR to dominate headlines. On the other hand, if those memos are legit, the genuine chaos of real betrayals from former allies could explain the sloppy deletions. This is where the clickbait title stops being clickbait and becomes receipts. Mid-script pivot, the most shocking industry secret. Katie's camp has been quietly shopping a memoir-style docuseries to streamers like Netflix per Variety whispers, and confirmed by a source familiar with the pitch. But here's the twist. The deleted evidence includes redacted emails hinting at NDAs being tested, with names of Hollywood heavyweights who allegedly sabotaged her last gig. Side-by-side comparison, her old interviews praising those same players versus current radio silence. Some people think this is her calculated comeback, dropping the series to expose the sabotage without a full courtroom brawl. Unconfirmed reports suggest test screenings already happened in LA, positioning her as the victim turned victor. Revelation 3 builds on that, fan and industry reactions as the fallout thermometer. US TikTok trends under Katie comeback spiked 300% last week, but so did Katie lawsuit, with legal eagles predicting filings by Q2. Brand insiders, quoted in Page 6, admit they're watching her next move before renewing. Long-term, this could mean lost streaming deals if she sues and drags on, or a $50 million book advance if she spins the PR web right. To really understand whether she's leaning into the courtroom or the camera, you have to zoom in on how she's been using her own platforms. In the days after the biggest leak, Katie went quiet on Maine but started liking very specific fan edits that framed her as silenced and set up, while ignoring posts that demanded simple clarifications. Commenters noticed that every time a legal commentary TikTok broke down defamation strategy, her account popped into the likes within hours. On one hand, that feels like someone doing homework for an upcoming lawsuit, watching how the internet would react if she went nuclear. On the other hand, it reads like a focus group for a PR comeback, testing which storyline gets the most sympathy before she steps back into the spotlight. Another clue sits in the language of her most recent official statement. Instead of flatly denying every allegation, her team carefully used phrases like materially misleading, selective sharing of private communications, and ongoing efforts to protect Katie's rights. Those are not the words of a team that's just hoping the internet moves on. That's the vocabulary of people who have already had multiple calls with litigation counsel. Yet in the same breath, they teased an upcoming opportunity for Katie to tell her story in her own words, in her own time. That's classic pre-press for a sit-down interview, a docuseries, or a glossy magazine spread designed to reset the narrative and humanize her. And now the 50% pivot that changes everything: money and leverage. Lawsuits are expensive, and PR campaigns on this scale are too, but they pay off differently. If Katie sues, she risks discovery. Every messy DM, every heated email, every off-the-record comment could become public. For someone already fighting perception battles, that's terrifying. But if her team believes the deleted evidence shows she was genuinely defamed, a carefully targeted suit could scare off future leakers and signal to the industry that messing with her has consequences. Meanwhile, a PR-focused comeback, think exclusive interview, controlled tears, behind-the-scenes footage of her healing journey, might restore brand friendliness faster, even if she never gets a legal win on paper. Industry insiders are split. Some agents reportedly see her as a too-hot-to-touch liability until she picks a lane, because brands hate uncertainty more than they hate drama. Others think she's sitting on a goldmine. If she times a comeback project to drop right after a major legal filing, she could dominate both the news cycle and the streaming charts, turning every headline about the lawsuit into free promo. This is the razor's edge she's walking. If the legal move flops, she looks vindicative and petty. If the PR move feels too polished, she looks fake and manipulative. Either way, the stakes are nothing less than the trajectory of her entire next decade. And now the 75% rehook to keep you locked in. Hold up, because the final revelation changes everything. Revelation 4, the personal-professional crossover that's pure dynamite. Leaked texts, screenshots from a verified fan account, show Katie responding to a collaborator's shade with "see you in court," deleted within minutes but archived by eagle-eyed followers. This isn't speculation. Wayback Machine captures confirm the post timing. On one hand, fiery PR stunt to rally the base. On the other hand, if real, her team's scrambling because court docs don't vanish. We also can't ignore how other celebrities are reacting, because in Hollywood, silence is a statement. A few former co-stars quietly unliked old posts with Katie, while a well-known producer dropped a suspiciously vague tweet about people weaponizing victim narratives. Fans immediately connected the dots, reading it as a subtweet about Katie's teased tell-all. Yet at the same time, a respected director publicly commented a simple, "proud of you for standing up," under an older post of hers, then left it there even after blogs picked it up. If Katie were only angling for a PR comeback, she'd likely be stacking visible endorsements from allies. The mix of support and shade suggests something deeper. People in the industry are bracing for receipts that could implicate more than just Katie herself. We've covered the timeline contradictions, like her moving on statement clashing with lawyer visits, the deleted evidence from stories and memos that scream premeditation, and the industry fallout with paused deals and rival whispers. But let's weigh the two paths heavily. Path 1, legal battle. Precedents like Amber Heard-Depp show stars weaponizing courts for narrative control, but it risks alienating U.S. brands wary of drama. Katie's odds? Strong if leaks prove defamation, potentially netting settlements funding her next slate. A successful suit could reframe her not just as chaotic, but as someone who was pushed too far and finally fought back. Path 2, calculated comeback. Think Taylor post-Kanye, channel the pain into art, drop unannounced music or a film that flips the script. Her history of resilience, from early career snubs to breakout roles, supports this. Leaks feel too convenient, almost fed to build sympathy. A perfectly timed docuseries or prestige project could let her forgive but not forget publicly, winning hearts without ever stepping into a courtroom. The risk? If the audience senses she's milking the drama without taking accountability, the backlash could be brutal and long-lasting. But that's where it gets real for her empire. Short-term fallout, immediate brand hesitancy, with Q1 earnings reports already flagging talent risks. Long-term, if lawsuit, protracted war eroding goodwill. If comeback, potential Oscar buzz or tour sellouts, reclaiming her spot. There's also a third, quieter path almost no one is talking about, a hybrid strategy where she files narrowly targeted legal actions behind the scenes while front-facing everything as a healing narrative. That would let her enforce boundaries legally while still serving fans a redemption arc on camera. The three strongest points justifying Katie's crossroads? First, the lawyer visit timestamp proving proactive moves, not panic. Second, leaked strategy docs outlining lawsuit versus PR war, showing this moment was mapped out long before the internet caught up. Third, industry pauses and coded reactions signaling massive stakes that go way beyond one scandal. Together, they scream neither pure victim nor villain. This is chess, not checkers, with her career hanging in the balance. Will she sue and risk it all, or orchestrate the ultimate redemption and turn every accusation into content? That's the question her next public move answers. And Hollywood is watching.